All right, folks, we're short on time today. I got to pick the kiddo up at 12:30. He has a half day at school. Plus, this clock is slow, so we've got maybe an hour and change. Let's do a quick and dirty diag on an old and rusty Ford. This is a 2001 Ford F150. The customer tells me that sometimes it runs okay, other times it has no power. Like, can't even make it up a gentle grade. He had the codes read. I guess it had a PO300 and a PO303, which are misfire codes. So, yeah, misfires are always fun. At least they're usually interesting. Let's get jacked in here and... Man, if I don't break my scan tool, we'll see what happens. This is a Ford. We're gonna hopefully auto ID. I don't know, this is pretty old. Yeah, look at that. Okay. Man, these older Fords are kind of... Well, hopefully it's something simple and cheap. Otherwise, I would guess this thing's headed for the crusher. The rockers are literally held together with duct tape. This takes approximately 2 minutes. All right. Well, let's pop the hood. I don't even know what engine it has. I'm assuming it's a 2-valve 5.4. No, that's a 6-banger. Yeah, sure enough, 4.2. Okay. Man, I do not know very much about these engines. Okay, we have a P0174. System 2 lean, bank 2, oil pressure switch, speed sensor, speed sensor, speed sensor, speed sensor. Okay, so yeah, that's all we got to go on is a System 2 lean, bank 2. Yeah, that's not annoying at all. Okay, we'll see if it can show us O2 sensors. Does it show the fuel trims also? Yes. Okay. Yeah, truck, I got it. Oh boy. She's got more than a little exhaust leak. Man, that's driving me crazy. Pray to God this window rolls back up. Alright, so yeah, something's obviously wrong. Our short-term fuel trim is at 22%. There it went to 30. Bank 1 and bank 2. So it's just adding fuel like crazy. And no check engine light. ABS lights on, of course. It says we're in closed loop. But the O2 sensors are... Well, there's not much activity, let's put it that way. Fuel trims are pretty much pegged out, at least on the short term. Alright, we've been running for a few minutes. It's pretty much fully warmed up. The O2 sensors are they're looking better. The upstream O2s are switching. They're kind of in the right range. It may be a refresh rate issue with this scan tool. The downstream O2s are still pretty much dead. And then the fuel trims are also getting better. I'll check this out if I power brake it. She doesn't like that. Not one bit. Okay. Well, we got buku problems on cylinder 1 and 3. I guess let's go there first. I don't know. This thing's pretty rough. We've got helicopter crop dusting going on to our left. I think we've got either lazy O2 sensors or a vacuum leak that's causing that lean condition on cold startup. But once it warms up, it seems to be pretty decent. The misfire, though, that feels like ignition to me. So this is a wasted spark system. There's a big coil pack right here. And our misfires are on 1 and 3. So I've got the scope set up. We're going to back probe the common power feed, this guy here, to the coil pack. And then I've got secondary probes here, these capacitive ignition probes on 1 and 3. Okay. I need both feet. Reverse, power brake. Yes, Ford. I hear you. Morning, folks. We did not finish our diagnostics yesterday. It's a long story. Anyway, I've been reviewing the data on the scope here. I don't know how much it really tells us. So the red is the secondary ignition. The kind of tan or gold color is the primary. So it seems to be firing the coil correctly, but it definitely has a misfire. From what I'm seeing, there's no burn line or a very short burn line on the secondary ignition. So I don't know. Looks like it's got pretty new plugs and wires. We're going to try swapping those, I think, first. And then I suspect it may have a weak coil. I think we're done here. This thing's got a bad coil. We probably didn't need to get the scope out. I mean, we definitely didn't need to get the scope out, but it's kind of nice to see the primary current ramps and just be sure that the PCM drivers are okay, and they seem to be fine. The PCM is switching the coil on and off. We just have a weak secondary, especially here on number 1 cylinder, possibly also on number 3. So all I'm doing to test this is using the jumper wire hooked to ground. In this case, it's a test light, an incandescent test light. Don't use an LED one. And we're essentially just measuring how much gap the spark can jump. The larger the gap, the higher the voltage, the higher the kV on your secondary ignition. Cylinder number 1, it's barely able to even get out of the coil tower here. On this one here, which is I think number 5, it was able to jump like 1.5 inch gap. So a huge difference. You can even hear it. You can hear the difference. You know, the larger the gap, the louder it kind of cracks. Yeah, we got a bad coil, or a weak coil. Pretty common problem. GM, Chrysler, Ford, they all use this same kind of wasted spark system. Even Honda and other companies use this system, especially on V6 and 4-cylinder engines. Just I'm a little bit rusty with them because we don't see a whole lot of these anymore. They all went to coil on plug. Yeah, so we need a new coil. If you guys aren't familiar with how a wasted spark system works, it's super simple. There are 6 cylinders on the engine, but there, for all intents and purposes, are only 3 coils. You can see it here. So there's 3 coils that the PCM controls. So the trick is that the coils fire every revolution of the engine instead of every other revolution of the engine. So there are companion cylinders. In this case, it must be 1 and 5 or 1 and whatever, doesn't really matter. And they both hit top dead center at the same time, but one's on compression and the other one is on exhaust. And that's why it's called a wasted spark. It sparks during the exhaust stroke, which it doesn't need to, but it simplifies the system quite a bit.
Smokes a little bit.
Do you want to go on record and just explain to the people why you ruined this car?
Well, you see, it didn't have an engine in it, and my dad took the engine out 17 years ago, and so I thought I would take the liberty of putting it back on the road again, and apparently putting an LS and an overdrive is ruining it. But we put 650 miles on it yesterday, so I mean, technically, did we ruin it? It's better-ish. We only drilled like a half dozen holes in it, so you can convert it all back to the original 300 2-speed slush box, carbureted, everything. Yeah, it's one of them fancy, there's no distributor and there's no carbonator, and it does things. But we got the Go Fast air intake on it. I got this fancy MSD solid state relay. Wes could probably talk. You'd enjoy this thing. It's like 4 relays in one, and you only need like 1 battery and 1, I don't know, wiring things.
All right, you're doing this all wrong. Here's how you do it. You pop the hood and you're like, oh, we got the something or another radiator, thanks to something or another. We got the Holly Sniper, we got the Holly something or another, we got the MSD, we got the Terminator, we got the Interstate battery.
It's the Terminator. Yeah, it does things, and it got us here, except for the master cylinder is venting fluid onto the floorboard, so that's why we're here, because Wes is really good at brakes. He loves brakes.
I love it.
Brake videos, top notch. They get like 100,000 views every time.
How many bleeders are we going to break off?
We're not going to bleed them. That's the beauty of this thing. We're so good at it, we don't even need to bleed the brakes.
Okay, this video may be admissible as evidence, so we'll just edit that part.
We'll just take that out of there. No comment.
All right, let's do it. You can see we've got the extremely safe single circuit master cylinder here. No redundancy needed.
power. You're scaring Max.
Really good on this side.
Not bad. They both were spinning.
She's got some minor frame twist.
It's called torque.
Hasta luego. Does that rock stick to the tires? Max, did you get him? Did you get that mouse?
Oh, jeez. Guess the old hood struts aren't what they used to be. Stay. All right, we got the green light to fix the misfire. The other issues, the lean code and the exhaust leaks and God knows what else, not so much. Anyway, I picked us up a new ignition coil from CarQuest. It's a CarQuest Premium. You're probably wondering why I didn't buy a Motorcraft coil. Well, guess what? I did buy a Motorcraft coil. So I believe the CarQuest ignition parts are made by Standard Motor Products. They must have the contract to make some of this older Motorcraft ignition stuff. I know they make the ignition modules, the old TFI modules. Apparently they also make these. So let's slap it on. And more like a 7mm. Oh, jeepers. Looks the same to me. Okay, that should be right. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 4. The little clip on the connector is broken, so not quite sure what we're going to do about that. Maybe a zip tie, or maybe nothing. Ain't this old girl's first rodeo, I'll tell you that. Anyway, let's see how she runs. What a beast. Oh yeah. Cool. Well, we're not missing on ignition. It's probably missing because it's so lean. You can feel it a little bit. We'll let it warm up and see how it does. Hello, family. What can I do for you? Okay. Big talkers.
We wanted to see if Mortske was still here.
Nope, they took off for Kentucky. Yeah, it's just like before. So once the O2 sensors wake up and start working, the fuel trims come right down. So that's actually a pretty good fuel trim. I can still hear it missing a little bit. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe we've got a fouled plug or something. Let's go for a drive and see how she is on the road. And there's nothing wrong with those fuel trims. Drives pretty good, really. Okay, let's see what she does with the hill. One of the problems with cameras is they make everything look flat. It's not too bad. It's weird, now we've got a dropout on cylinder 4. You can hear it, you can see it on the scan tool. I don't know what that's about. I swapped the number 5 and number 4 spark plug wire, and the problem is still on number 4. This is unbelievable, folks. This brand new coil is bad. Is. That's what it should do. Am I missing something here? It's got to be a bad coil. I swapped the wire and the plug between number 4 and number 5, and the problem stays on number 4. It's worse under a load. It's funny, we didn't see a problem climbing the hill, but just putting it in gear and letting it, you know, holding your foot on the brake, it misfires pretty badly. All right, I'll order another coil. We'll try this again. 18 hours later, the parts lady brought us a new coil, just like the last one. I have installed it, just like the last one. Let's fire this pig up, let it warm up. And we'll see if we still have a misfire. I'm getting pretty discouraged at this point. The quality of parts is so bad. All right, our fuel trims are slowly coming down. Yeah. I haven't felt a misfire yet. That's looking better. Sort of approaching reality. Let's put a little load on it and see what it does. Yeah, that's the best it's done so far. I think we got it this time.
sound. That coil was obviously leaking spark somewhere. Alright, I think we're done.
Alright folks, I think that's the best we can do with the parameters we were given. You know, obviously this old girl is no longer the belle of the ball, but it is what it is. We fixed the misfire. I think that was the biggest issue. Unless he wants to fix the exhaust leaks and maybe replace an O2 sensor or two, I don't think we can do a whole lot better. So yeah, we'll go send those parts back to the store. We'll get our money back and we'll lick our wounds. On to the next one. Thanks for watching.